me, it was really a joy to work with everyone, and I hope everyone has something to take away from this internship going forward. You know, it's not only just a really strong portfolio piece, right? But also like the experience of going through the UX process and reaching out to real participants to conduct user research and design your product around. I think that's very valuable, and I think both teams did like a wonderful, like an awesome job.
Through the interviews, we also found out that the users wanted a video explanation that is accessible throughout the app, about, like a tutorial of sorts on how to use the SMAP. We also found out that they wanted a skip button for the more experienced users to navigate the app.
This navigation bar is different because the icons match more with what the step actually is. They're bigger and they fit with the flow of the rest of the app. These are our high fidelity wireframes, which was just making all the rest of the pages of frames. They consisted of a unified layout with all the same color schemes and layout of the information. We had proper alignment and clear hierarchy layout. So we'd have the top navigation bar, the bottom part, and the next button.
So the library basically has all of the data that you want to save, such as the graphs. Each of the graphs, we have a download option where people can download any specific graph that they want to. But in one of our meetings with Samuel, he mentioned that the file size would be too large to save.
Tell me if I'm thinking of this correctly based on what you just explained. A beginner would actually be clicking through each of the icons on the top, whereas a user could have a fast mode where you could show the progress on the icons, but they're not really clicking through it. Everything is happening in the background and they're getting the final results. Is that the vision?
Yeah, yes.
It's awesome.
Using UI UX methodologies, how can we design an interface for a bioinformatics learning application that can maximize a student's learning experience? When we started this project, we had to really familiarize ourselves with the original SMAP application. We then proceeded to interview users with various backgrounds and had them test the app out. Here's a glimpse of the final prototype that we created. We ask everyone to stay tuned in as we continue to talk about our process and the solutions we have created. So we start off with secondary research on bioinformatics. As you guys know, like we are UI UX interns, we don't really have a background knowledge on what bioinformatics is about. So we had to research to understand what it's about, the type of industry that it's created for those people, and the career path that has been created.
Menu was the drop-down menu. It had the sign-in option and the settings. It also had the library, which the library is accessible to users who sign in to the SMAP account. The tutorial shows the Learn Bioinformatics page, so the user can click on it at any point through their steps, so they can go and view and learn more about bioinformatics.
The progress bar, I would say, is the start of our prototype. So it allows for users to really view when steps are finished or when they skip the step. We took the vertical navigation bar that was created in the original SMAP, turned it into a progress bar, made it more helpful for the user, and allows them to see what step they're on. Okay. So as we approach the end of our presentation, we would just like to talk about our takeaways with STEMway. So I joined STEMway because my school does not provide a lot of guidance for interaction design. So as a graphic design major, joining STEMway and the UI UX pathway is a huge eye opener for me as I learned more about what UX and UI is about. I also had the opportunity to work with Ramya, who is across the world from me, and we had to learn how to time manage and really communicate with one another.
For me, STEMaway helped me in improving my UX skills. It also helped me to connect with a lot of people through the user testings that we did. And I also had a great opportunity to work with my teammate, Naomi.
Also, thank you for listening to my nonstop feedback. I have a tendency to nitpick every detail. So to see that all these feedback is implemented in the final design is really, really cool.
I'd like to thank our interns for their tireless efforts this summer. As Devlina and Anthony mentioned, like every week they exceeded our expectations, and then the next week they raised the bar again. They always took on Anthony's excellent advice on board, and Anthony was always available to offer feedback and kind of suggestions and recommendations using his UX expertise. So I think the interns really got a brilliant opportunity this summer to kind of learn all of these UX principles from someone who's working with them on a daily basis.